Since the introduction of Revenant Caves in 2017, clans and alliances have held down certain worlds with the intent to deny the public accessing these worlds for payments that would allow you to kill Revenant Caves unchecked while you reap the benefits of one of the best money-making methods on Oldschool Runescape. I was able to obtain an image by someone who has done Revenant Caves in 2K worlds. I must warn you, the amount of GP may come as a shock to most. Recently, a post was added on the Oldschool Runescape Reddit page. The guy who posted the image had an intent to show and expose clans on what they're doing at the Revenant Cave. These protected clans the past few months have grown at an alarming rate to the point that if you choose to farm revenants in any world, in a matter of seconds, a scout bot will log in and alert their clan, PK you, and make you pay to use the caves. The way these guys run this service is pretty much you pay them a fixed price for whatever clan you are negotiating with, and they will offer their services by protecting you against other PKers, and this will allow you to chill the entire time while you farm revs freely. When I say it's almost every world, I mean it's literally almost every regular world and including total worlds. I was world hopping from 302 to the very last world, which is 535, and as you can see, all these clans that are in a huge alliances are protecting every single player that's out here paying to farm revenant. What I don't like about this whole thing is that it doesn't promote healthy gameplay other than just farming the gold that these guys get, and eventually they will trade it. It also discourages players from PKing at the caves, because if you go and PK one of these protected worlds, most likely your team, whoever is approaching this world, will get flagged and ragged until you leave the world. I'd like to mention about the Ironmen using these worlds and how it ruins the spirit of that game mode, but these Ironmen are only out here doing revenants for supply drop. If you look at the drop table here, you can tell that this is a lot of supplies coming into the game, and it shouldn't be easy for someone to click on a monster and get these supply drops like Ironmen and the rest of the player base. If you look at bosses like Vorkath, Sora, these are bosses that take a while to master. These monsters provide loot that is worth doing, because if it takes a while to master the mechanics, then that's how the game should reward you based on difficulty and skill. Revenants, on the other hand, have no skill at all, and it's entry level. Anyone can go there and click on a revenant monster. Whether your gear is only cheap range gear or melee, that's it, and you get rewarded for all this loot on the drop table. On top of all of this, it allows entry level for gold farming. Look at all the relics that come into the game. Just alone, this is a lot of GP just coming in along with alchables. Also, with the relics, you can also trade them to the emblem trader that's roaming in the Revenant Cave. The emblem trader will offer you a full price on what they're worth and exchange that relic for GP. This is why I say it's a problem to the game. Almost every world that's protected are obtaining these items every single day. The only way that I could see the possible outcomes on this to stop this whole paid protection from clans taking over content is to add a solution to the problem. My suggestion to the problem is, if you want to receive the current GP per hour, which is 3 to 5 mil an hour at Revenant, in my opinion, make it so that in order to farm Revenants for that GP per hour goal, you should have all the Wilderness Diaries completed. I think this is respectable in a way that Revenants wouldn't be an entry level content, rather it would just be that you have to work and complete all Wilderness Diaries to make this type of money. This makes it difficult for most players, because if they choose to roll with protected clans in the future and players who are RWTing the gold, they could have their accounts at risk, which in return it wouldn't be so many people farming Revenants, because now it would require a lot to complete diaries and because it's endgame completion. Another idea that I would love to propose is, instead of having players currently right now risking little to nothing, which as you can see here, this gear is not worth so much, but if you were to make it possible, if you wanted to enter the caves, you'd have to be risking a minimum of certain risk like 200k, 300k to enter the cave, so that it would make sense for PKers to be rewarded from the loot if they PK'd someone in the caves, and just so that it discourages rag gear, and to pretty much add to the life of the PKing cycle. Also, Jagex should rewrite their rules and ban players who are offering services in a way that grieves players from accessing this type of content, like casual players like myself and the community. Cracking down on clan chats who participate in this activity should also be banned as well. Side note on that, by the way, a leader from one of the protected clans has been permanently banned, and Jagex has taken action, which I do appreciate them cracking down on this whole protected services. Another idea that would work well against clans who are offering protection in the total worlds is by making it so that in those worlds you only get bracelets and ether. This is the same way that World 45 in Dead Mode works, and the same way it works for the Dead Mode tournaments too, because Jagex themselves know that this is way too OP for items to come into the game, game in Deadman mode worlds, so why not do it for total worlds and stop this whole content locking from clans? Pretty much, majority of the players here are Venezuelans, casual Ironmen, and PVMers who are desperate of getting items for their accounts or to just, like I said, sell the gold for real world currency. I've went over the major issues with what's happening at the Revenant case, but I want to talk about the good side about this. No, it's not the clan services, it's how these clans are vulnerable out here when they idle for too long and have other clan rivals PK them. As you can see here, the amount of GP that has been made from just attacking these protected players that are farming revenants is insane loot, and there's tons of money to make, but at a cost. If you're trying to roll with a small team, you'll get lucky but then clear it out quickly, but the rival clans have had a lot of success is just showing that there's tons of money to be made. And these images here have been documented very well for the past 10 months to know that these guys are PKing good money off these protected worlds. It's no joke when I say that these protected worlds are making tons of money by just farming the revenants, and as you can see, there is proof from just the PK loot alone off these paid protectors. If you're trying to assemble a team to PK these guys, your success rate would be only a few kills before the huge clan hops into your world and logs in, because at the end of the day, this is just a numbers game. That's why these huge alliances group together so that they could stop any potential threat from coming in and attacking their customers. So if your goal is to attack these guys, it's best to do an in and out situation. I mean, by just looking at this loot in this Discord, they have documented their PK loot so well that it's insane how just Revenant Caves is bringing so much money into the game. I PK'd in the past at the caves at dead times, which would be around 11 PM to 8 AM, and no sign of PKers who challenge these guys aren't around, and it would make sense because everyone's asleep, but these guys aren't. These guys buying these protected services are out here 24/7 because everyone knows by now that this piece of content is bringing in a lot of service, and it's a huge site for real world trading. The only thing that I could say that's come good from this content is the activity and for multi PKing, which in my opinion, it's nice for this area to be a huge hotspot for PKing, either for multi or single PKing, but there's other content in the game that's just not active anymore that I will talk about in another video. But for now, I just want to focus on Revenant Caves as to why Jagex needs to crack down on these services, because it's becoming a problem to the average player. But the whole origin as to why this whole thing started in the first place was back in 2017 when Revenant Caves was added to the game. High profile clans set a mandatory for their members to get 2K total so that they could start kicking out PVMers and run their own services, which would eventually become today's problem. They were charging 100 mil to 150 mil for every 2 weeks to PVM in the caves, and most of their clients were originally Ironmen. It's why I said in the beginning of the video that it ruins the spirit of the Ironmen, and these guys who benefited from these services started from way back in 2017, and now they've gained such an advantage of just 3 years of farming revenue. The players who paid for the service originally were making 1 bill to 2 bill a month if they were going 8 hours a day, making 5 mil an hour, and by the end of 2 weeks they'd make 1.2 bill and almost 2 bill at the end of the month, which again they would have to pay 100 mil to 150 mil for another 2 weeks to use the caves. Eventually, different clans started hosting their own services across all total worlds, which later would create a problem, and clans would be PKing each other to try and get rid of their competition, which is why now you see most clans hosting services across all regular worlds, because there's no need for them to host in total worlds when they can offer services to the entire game who's seeking to farm revenants for money. And it's also another reason why the rates for protection has dropped a lot, because if they are protecting regular worlds, and they could market towards a larger audience and build a huge pool of money that could make a lot towards their business. These rates vary between clans because some clans take anything. Some clans will charge 5 mil a week, other clans will charge 10 mil, 15 mil, 30 mil, and 40 mil. That's what I've known so far, but that's pretty much it. But like I've said before, this is in the regular world, so this is public for everyone to do, so that means they're going to be making a lot of money off people, so it just makes total sense. So that's pretty much the origin as to why this whole thing seems to be a trend now with most clans and with Reddit and the community fully aware now. I hope that Jagex actually takes this seriously so that we don't have another wilderness content happen like this, but having content that's healthy for the spirit of PKing and the game. My final suggestion for Revenant Cave is, for one, if they could move it at least 10 more wilderness levels higher instead of having players hugging 30 line, that would make the farming of revenants more difficult, and I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but have some revenants roam around in the wilderness to make other spots active for PKing, but I don't know about that one. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this informative video as to what's been happening for the past 3 years at the Revenant Caves and how it's been getting out of control. I hope that you guys could share this video to everyone and even share it to the Jagex moderators to see what they think about this whole issue, since most of you guys have been sharing information before I even made this video. I've seen all the recent posts on Reddit and RS Twitter sharing their thoughts on this whole situation with all different sides, everyone putting out information. It's been really informative to this whole thing, and I really appreciate the community coming out and doing this together. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this informative video. If you guys want to leave me a comment on what else you guys think about the whole situation or what future videos you guys want to see, let me know. Also, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and share the video so that way everyone can see this. And anyways, I will see you guys in the next. It's your boy Cato713. Love you. Peace. Also, join my Discord.